Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Whiskey and Winners. Concept here is pretty damn simple. Few buddies, couple of drinks, and a whole lot of sports talk. Hopefully, a few winners along the way. It's ain't gonna be one of those shows where we sit and pretend like we're some sort of professional analyst, all dressed up in nice fancy suits, discussing the third down EPA for 45 minutes. We're just sports fans who like to gamble on sports, like to argue about sports, and every now and then one of us is going to be right about something. Every week we're going to sit down, we're going to pour something we probably don't need, look at the games and the numbers, and try to figure out where the hell the winners are. And we're going to figure out where we're wrong. Hey, we're not going to delete the tweets when we make a bad pick. We're not going to pretend like it didn't happen. We're going to keep score. But before we get to the first card, I want to introduce you guys to the two guys who decided to be degenerates and do this show with me. So, Chad, let me start with you. Tell everybody who you are, who you pull for, and most importantly, what you drinking tonight.
First, going to start with a drink. It's a Bud Light. My name's
No
Chad.
way, shocker.
Yeah, shocker. Same drink for the last 20 something years. Name's Chad from Macon, Georgia. Currently reside on St. Simon's Island, right outside of Brunswick on the East Coast. And as you can see behind me, I'm a Bama fan. So all the hate that comes with that, whatever we get in the chat, go for it.
I can't lie, dude. Even as a Georgia fan, I spent about a decade and a half pretty jealous of you Tide fans. That was a pretty damn strong run.
It really was, and I've had conversations at bars, and people get really mad that I come in with something in Alabama, and I always ask them, "Who is your rival? Isn't it Florida?" And they always give me this crazy look, and I'm like, "So why are you mad because I'm wearing Alabama?"
Georgia's a unique food. We could have a whole different. You got to pay attention to my other show, Beliefs, Ballots, and Bulldogs, and get into the Georgia rivals and stuff like that. But we'll get into all that. All right, Brian. Brian, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Brian Nobles. I'm from Columbus, Georgia. Firefighter for about 20 years. Into college football. Love betting on sports. Love watching sports. And sipping on some Old Forester 1910 tonight.
That is a damn fine whiskey, my friend. Good selection. And as unshocking as it is for Chad to be drinking a Bud Light and Brian to be drinking straight whiskey, the fact that I don't have a drink at all might be more shocking than anything.
I feel really
But
weird. Yeah,
Brian was there for the last drink I've had. I don't know when the next one will come. I don't think I'm done for life. But right now, I just don't have an interest in it. But I'm Greg. I'm gonna host this train wreck. I'm a UGA grad. I'm a diehard Georgia guy, lifelong dog, and it means I have absolutely no way of being objective on Georgia games, but I still try to pick every damn one of them. But I'll admit all that up front. I have followed sports and gambling for what seems like the entirety of my adult career. I think I've been gambling on sports before I was legally able to. So that's where we are. And this is about our interest and hanging out and just trying to pick a few winners and have some fun. So let's forget about all the introductions. Nobody really cares who we are. This is all going to come down to whether or not we can beat the number or not. So let's start putting some picks on the paper. Brian's going to be our record keeper. The first show we're going to do all of our preseason stuff. The segment we're going to start with here is going to pick in our conference winners. We're going to do the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. We're not going to get into anything outside of the four big conferences. So, Brian, we'll start with you. Who you got winning the SEC?
SEC, I got Georgia at plus 280. I'm going to give you who I think they're going to be playing in the championship game, and it may shock some of you. But I'm
All
high on
right.
this team this year, and that's going to be the Oklahoma Sooners. I think they beat
I
Oklahoma going off Kirby Smart. I got to back Kirby Smart, and then the 16 returning starters that are returning players that had at least 150 snaps on defense that Georgia's bringing back. I'm gonna have to back the Dogs for the SEC championship.
well, let me go ahead and say this: that you and I did not coordinate any of this stuff, but just based on that
yeah,
first
right.
pick, you and I are already seeing some things the same way. Chad, who you got winning the SEC?
I'm taking Texas at plus 326. I love getting Arch Manning back. Um, Returning quarterback plus massive talent. Brutal, though, SEC schedule this year for Texas. I got my long shot at Tennessee at plus 19.
All right, I got to agree with Brian, and I'm not trying to say this because I'm a homer. I think Georgia at plus 280 is the best value on the board to win the SEC. I do think we're the best team. It's just a question whether or not we get some guys that can step up at wide receiver or not. Texas is right there. Ole Miss is dangerous. Oklahoma, Alabama always. LSU with Kiffin now. But I gotta roll with Kirby and the boys. I think getting plus 280 with Georgia is a pretty strong bet if I'm leaning that way. So, all right, we'll move on. Brian, who you got in the ACC?
Phew. This one is the easiest one of all to pick, and it pains me to say it, as big a Florida State fan as I am. But I'm going to have to take the Miami Hurricanes at minus 160. I don't believe there's anybody close to their talent in the ACC. I think they're going to play SMU, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think there's a chance Miami goes undefeated this year.
All right, Chad, who you got in the ACC?
I'm on the other side. I do agree with you. I think Miami is strong as all get out. I don't love the number minus 165 is what I got it at or see it at. I'm going to find a little value in Louisville plus 785. Just Carson Beck being gone, things concern me there. And then I got Florida State at a long shot, 40-1.
I
All
like
right,
it.
well, I'll chime in on both of you. Brian, I can get you minus 140 on the Miami pick for our record's sake. That was the best number I saw when I was looking today. So minus 140 can go with your Miami. Chad, I can get you plus 850 on Louisville because I saw that number today, and that's where I saw the value too. Brian, I'm with you. I think Miami is hands down the most talented team and probably the safest bet in the ACC. But at plus 850, that Louisville, that's a sneaky good football team. I think the schedule sets up well for them. I'd take a shot at Louisville plus 850. I'm with Chad on that one.
And I think for me, guys, it's more of I'm not looking for a straight up winner, like a favorite winner. I'm looking, where is my value? If I can be anywhere from
Yeah,
7 and it's value there with a good team, that's my pick. So I'm not going to be the best one out of this group, but that's what I'm looking at.
I was leaning on SMU. I feel SMU's got a shot, but Miami's just going to be too tough in that conference.
Yes, sir.
yeah. I mean, Chad, and you hit the nail on the head, Chad. It's a gambling themed show, so everything's about the value. I'm with you. If gun to my head, who do I think wins the ACC? I would have picked Miami. But as a gambler, I'm going to I'd sprinkle a little money on the Louisville plus 850 with you.
Absolutely. Hmm.
All right, let's move on. Let's get into my least favorite conference out there. Brian? Who you got to win the Big Ten? What would be your pick from a gambling perspective?
Big Ten, tough one. I got Oregon Ducks winning the Big Ten at plus 260. I got them beating Ohio State. I feel the returning players they got coming back and who they were able to come back. I guess it's nice to have good money in your boosters to bring some players back that probably should be playing on Sunday this year. And their quarterback, Dante Moore, is one of them for sure. So I think that Oregon at plus 260 was the way to go for the Big Ten.
All right, CL, what's your thoughts on the Big Ten? Where do you see the value on the board?
Two thoughts. If I was putting $1,000 on a play, I would take Ohio State all day long. I mean, you got Sayin returning, Jeremiah Smith returns, undefeated conference record, #1 preseason. Uh, that's just such a strong number, plus 189. But actually, guys, I'm looking for value. I'm on the back of the middle of the line. I'm on Penn State plus 18.
I think Penn State is a sneaky good football team, but beyond that, I think their schedule sets up well to where if they can show up for a couple of big moment games, I think they avoid a lot of landmines. And I'm with it. I looked at that one. I think there might be some value on Penn State. When I was trying to make my pick, though, I'm with Brian. Oregon at plus 260, I think is the best value as far as picking a winner for the Big Ten. Again, I think Ohio State is probably the best team. I think that's why they're slightly better odds than Oregon. But I'm with you. Give me Dante Moore. I think that kid is special. I think he could make things difficult for some defenses in the Big Ten. And that home field advantage in Eugene ain't nothing to play with. That's a long way for some of these Big Ten schools to be going. So I like Oregon plus 260, but that's an intriguing look, Chad. I like the Penn State look as well. There's some value there, and then with a pick like that, you might have a good hedge chance down the road as well.
I
What
already
was
locked it
what
in.
was that? What was the odds on that one again, Chad? I missed you, and then
I
just hard
got
bet
Penn
against
State.
Matt Campbell.
Head coach Matt Campbell. For the line, I picked it at plus 18,
Nice.
like dead even.
All right, let's roll on. Let's move
Actually,
forward to.
plus 1867. My bad. That says if Campbell immediately fixes the program was my model, based on Campbell.
Well, look, with the tradition and the resources at Penn State, I like Matt Campbell as a head coach. I'm with you. That's one where for a value pick, that's a big juicy number that you can get a decent return or at least have a good opportunity to hedge down the road, I think.
Yeah, like you guys will win more picking the plus 189s and the 241s. I'm in the middle of the road. You know me, Greg. I'm a parlay gambler type dude.
You've always liked to swing for the fences, that's for sure. All right, let's move on to the Big 12, the conference that has almost been forgotten about, but not quite yet. It's still hanging on there. B Nobles, where's your value for the Big 12 winner?
I think the winner of the conference is going to be Texas Tech, but that ain't where I'm going with that. I'm going to go with Kansas State plus 1,200. They have 5 of their first 6 games at home. They don't play Texas Tech, BYU, or Utah in conference. This is Avery Johnson's 3rd year as a starter, so is he going to finally do what they've been saying he was going to do? So I'm going to back Colin Klein in Kansas State.
I like it. I actually saw him at plus 1,400.
I like that better.
Chadwick, who you got in the Big 12?
I am gonna roll with Utah at plus 800. Kyle Whittingham, 11 win team, 8-1. My big concern right now, and the model like gave me tons of like exclamation points. Texas Tech.
All right, I like it. I like it. And this is gonna be the first time we've got a one conference where none of us have the same pick. I'm I'm throwing my coins on BYU plus 600.
That's not
Look,
bad.
I'm with you guys. I think Texas Tech is. There's a reason why they're the favorite. Texas Tech is likely to win this conference. But from a gambling perspective, I'm not laying even money on anybody for the Big 12 right now. Texas Tech's one injury away from being irrelevant. So I wouldn't. There's just no value on that number. But I like BYU plus 600. That one kind of caught my eye
I
as something
actually
maybe
might
worth a
sprinkle
little.
some on BYU. I missed that. I overlooked it completely. Hmm.
I think I'm not entirely sure BYU's not a playoff team when all is said and done.
Yeah, let's get them to halfway through the season, see how the quarterback looks.
All right, so let's talk about your let's move on to individual players award. If you got we'll start with a Heisman winner, and then anything else beyond that. If you want to talk about some individual players you're on the lookout for, possible award winners, or just a name to throw out there. And again, this is just where you maybe not who you think is the best player, but of the existing Heisman candidates right now, if you could pick one to throw some money on, who you got. We'll switch up the order. Chad, we'll let you pick the first Heisman candidate.
Is it okay if I throw like at least 2 or 3 out? We good with that?
Like, dude, wherever you see some value, man, if you want to sprinkle and spray the board, I know how you like to do it.
I mean, I think CJ Carr's a lock to win it. But I'm not there's not enough value there for a Heisman Trophy. Anybody can have a great year. I am at the bottom of the list. Lenora Sellers, 39-1. That's my big bet, and I've taken Bryce Underwood at 43-1. Um, I just Michigan Wolverines right now. I'm high on. They've got a steady and stellar backfield. They just got 2 more running backs, Sededrin in the portal. So that's where I'm going. Norris Sellers and Bryce Underwood. Those are my 2. But if I had to do just I think a guaranteed pick, I would probably roll CJ Carr.
I guess I like it. I never thought I'd be hosting a college football podcast to start with, much less one where somebody throw out there a South Carolina quarterback as a Heisman winner. Holy shit! All right, Brian, I'm gonna throw that grenade in your lap. He's sending the Heisman to Columbia, South Carolina, back like George Rogers is still around. But Brian, who you got for a Heisman?
He threw 5 good players out there, and the 2 that I have, but I'm only going to lock up one of them, are different than them 5. So I came down to Dante Moore of Oregon and Darian Mensah of Miami. I feel like the one I'm going to take is Darian Mensah at plus 1,000, as much as it pains me again to pick a Miami player. Like I said, they're loaded on the offensive line. He's got Malachi Toney plus his top receiver from Duke. He won the ACC last year at Duke with over 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, only 6 picks, and he's playing in Shannon Dawson's offense that produced Cam Ward, and I think he's better than Cam Ward. So I'm going to go with Darian Mensah at plus 1,000.
Y'all threw out all the names that I was looking at and kind of rattling around in my noggin. I looked at Dante. Look, it's as much as we hate to admit it, it's a quarterback award most years these days. So it's, between Arch Manning, Dante Moore, and things like that. I think it's going to be a quarterback again, as much as I hate to admit it. I'm with Chad. I think from a betting standpoint, if you give me one pick, I'm going with C.J. Carr. Every Notre Dame game is on TV. Their schedule is an absolute joke. They're going to win 10 or 11 games for sure. They play teams where they can name their score. We know that Notre Dame gets extra votes on anything vote related. Look, plus 700, a Notre Dame quarterback. Give me C.J. Carr. I think there's some value there. I didn't have enough time to really dig into the rest of the board, but I'm going to throw out there. The only other thing, Biletnikoff Award or just another player to watch. Jeremiah Smith is otherworldly. If he can get his head screwed on straight, that guy is virtually uncoverable at wide receiver. He is about 2.5 inches from being Randy Moss.
He's the best player in the country to me, but it's a quarterback award, like we said.
Did y'all have a chance? Did y'all go through? Were there any other awards you looked at? Anything else like the Biletnikoff, Davey O'Brien? Anything else y'all saw any value on?
I didn't find one particular award, but there was one running back that I really liked, and I've looked at him for the last 2 days, and that was gosh, give me just a moment. Was it Bryce Underwood? No, that was his Heisman. Come back to me. Let me get back. I'll find it in just a second.
All right. Brian, did you see any other individual player awards that you were looking at?
I thought of some players, but I couldn't find the odds on some of these individual awards. But I did pick Doak Walker Award. I feel like the player to beat on that is going to be Keywan Lacey at Ole Miss.
That's what I got. That's exactly
1,500 something yards last year. So we're on the same page with that.
We're on the same page.
Biletnikoff Award, I don't see how you go against Jeremiah Smith. I think they might as well just hand that to him now. I mean, Malachi Toney may give him a run, but Jeremiah Smith's going to be tough. The Ben Derrick Award, I got Colin Simmons out of Texas. He led the SEC in sacks last year. He's only going to get bigger and stronger. And then the Davey O'Brien usually goes with the Heisman Trophy winner, so I'm going to have to go with Darian Mensah.
I want to touch on Lacey. Total touches, led the entire FBS with 306 rushing attempts, amassed over 1,500 rushing yards, logged 24 rushing touchdowns, forced 84 missed tackles.
Well, I could tell you, as a team that had to play them some bitches twice to try to tackling Keywan Lacey didn't look like any damn fun. And between him being an absolute bulldozer running the football and Trinidad Chambliss turning into Superman in the freaking championship game, Ole Miss is a scary offense with those two guys.
I agree. And Lacey's got a different gear. If he gets open, he can hit 6th gear.
He is one of those that, and there's a lot of really good college football backs. He's that one that I think, kind of like Jeremiah Love last year, where he's one that NFL people are already looking at as going, that might be a first round NFL type pick. Because I'm with you. He's got the body style, he's got the physique, the toughness, the physicality, and that top end gear that most running backs these days don't have.
You can get him Heisman odds at plus 10,000.
Oof. I didn't look at the odds, but
It's a quarterback award.
Right. That's the only thing about it.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we obviously, because of the nature of those, we were gonna crossfire a little bit and have some overlap with picks and stuff like that. But hopefully, as we get into the over under win totals, and we were all kind of looking at the entire board on our own independently, hopefully we'll have some different perspectives and offer some different information for anybody that might stumble across this show and end up listening to us. Let's start. Brian, give me an over under win total for the year that you call.
I know it don't sound like I'm an FSU fan after this, but Miami over 10.5 at minus 115. There's only one losable game on their schedule, and that's Notre Dame. So I can't see them going any worse than 11-1. I feel like they're probably going to go 12-0. The only thing that scares me about Miami is Mario Cristobal coaching Miami, because if he gets in a close game, he is known to lose one. We can think about Louisville from last year, SMU from last year, Georgia Tech trying to run the ball for no reason 2 or 3 years ago and then lose that game at the end. That's the only thing that scares me about them. Other than that, I feel they're 11-1 or 12-0.
If as a head coach on your resume you have a loss where all you had to do was assume the victory position and you still managed to lose, man, I'm telling you, that's a hard team to put my money on for a season long. Mario will find a way to screw it up somewhere. They are the most talented team in the ACC. The schedule's an absolute joke. I would take the under if you forced me to play that. I think Miami caught lightning in a bottle last year with Carson transferring in. Miami may win the ACC, but I don't think I think they lose more than one game. Chad, you got any thoughts on that pick?
Not on that pick, and I couldn't find the over/under on the number I wanted, but it's a thin line, but I like James Madison.
All right, and what was their season win total?
I couldn't find it.
All right.
I looked 3 different places, and I got 3 different numbers, and I was just kind of like, well, where am I at in the middle? So I don't want to be incorrect live.
Yeah, my first one I'm gonna throw out there, and look, I apologize. It is absolutely juicy, and it's an ugly schedule. But what of y'all touched on? Y'all think Oklahoma makes the SEC title game? I got Oklahoma over 7.5. It was at minus 148, which I hate laying that kind of juice on anything. But I mean, a season long total, I don't mind tying up the funds, and even with that brutal schedule. I think Oklahoma can get to 8 wins. I feel like they do. I honestly, I've got them going 9-3 on my model. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't sneak up on some people and possibly have a chance to get in there and be in the SEC title game.
I'm looking at that one strong too.
I mean, it's hard to bet against like teams like Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Texas. I mean, those are the ones that you always see middle of the year, and you're like, could they be the next one?
Well, and I'm not going to lie. When I first looked at that Oklahoma at 7.5 number, it jumped off the screen at me, and I'm going, holy cow, that can't be right. It seemed like an easy one, and then I looked at the schedule. They have got an absolute brutal schedule. So it's not hard to see how you could schedule or see them losing 5 games. But I went through my model several times. I think Oklahoma wins eight at least, maybe 9 games, and that's of the season win totals. I think Oklahoma will probably be my strongest play.
What odds?
Chad, you got it. I had it. I can't remember which book I saw, but I got it over 7.5 at minus 148.
Minus 148. I found James Madison at minus 130 at Caesars.
I don't love it. Could you buy the hook on that 7.5 or no?
Yeah,
they won't let you do that on season win totals.
Mm-mm.
All right, Chad. Other than James Madison, who else you got?
You guys are gonna laugh. New Mexico. I don't have the number on it. Wow, it's 9 wins, 6-2 in the conference at nearly 3-1. The only concern I really have right now is they have three coaches in transition. So I mean, I'm not looking big like SEC. I'm looking. I find easier money in some of these teams that a lot of people don't look at. And New
You and
Mexico,
I have been talking gambling for 20 years, I've always thought, especially at the college level, that some of these lower level matchups are where you can find some value because there's just not as many eyeballs on them. There's not as much information out there. I kid you not. The absolute best follow I ever had on anybody online gambling was a guy who only bet on East Carolina football and basketball. And he was
he bet the over.
absolutely ridiculous picking East Carolina games because he knew that team inside and out.
For the last 3 years, if you're betting East Carolina in the over is probably like a shoe in. What was it, 7 or 8 years ago when Oregon, every game they were putting up 50, 60 points by themselves? I mean, you can find these teams, especially with New Mexico and UNLV, they throw the ball a lot.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. All right, Brian, give us another season win total.
All right. With my trends, you're going to notice they're all juicy, but to me, you got to lock your money up for 14 weeks. I might as well take something that I feel is going to hit. So next one I got winning or have a chance to win the Big 12, so I had to go with them over 7.5, and that's Kansas State at minus 185. And I already spoke about why I thought they would be competing in the Big 12, so that's the reason I feel 8-4. I feel is their floor. 9-3, somewhere around in there. So over 7.5, I feel like it's going to hit.
I like it. I like that one a lot. I looked at that one as well.
That's
My second one, and actually I love the number on this one. Chad, you said you were going to sprinkle a little on Lenora Sellers to win the Heisman.
yeah.
If he does, this one's going to look good because I'm taking South Carolina over 6.5 wins at plus 115. I mean, look, the SEC's brutal, but I'm with you. That South Carolina's a gritty team. I like Shane Beamer. You got an experienced quarterback, and look, I don't think Lenora Sellers wins the Heisman, but I do know that that guy's a difficult matchup. He's the kind of guy that will single-handedly win 2 or 3 games. South Carolina at plus 115. Give me South Carolina over 6.5 season wins.
The only one thing I'd probably push back on because it's so juicy. Maybe look at the over and under total passing yards for the year for him and see what that number is. And probably whatever it is right now, I'd lay over. You might get more value for your money.
Yeah, well, and the defense is going to make him throw the ball. They're not going to let South Carolina run or let him beat them with his legs.
All right. So what is the over and under for total passing yards for the year?
I have no idea.
My bad.
I got the numbers that I did the research on. That's what I brought to the table.
I'll look it up. I'll have it ready for next.
I would say you could just follow up with all this on all your social media accounts and let people know where you're when you find other plays, but you don't do social media.
I have no social media, brother. Only than Facebook, and I don't even use that really.
All right, you got the other season win totals you looked at?
I don't. Not for this record. Nope.
Brian, you got anything else you were looking at?
I got 3 more. They're all, like I said, juicy, but I feel like they'll hit. So
Hey, I think I got 2 or 3 more as well. Go ahead. We'll go back and forth. Who's your next one?
Chad, I don't like this one. I got, except for the line, but I got UNLV over 7.5. I think they have a shot to get into the college football playoff as a group of 5 team. That's at minus 770. I mean, that's a Dan Mullen coach team. 2023, 9 wins. 2024, 11 wins. 2025, 10 wins. Boise State is no longer in the Mountain West. They're in the Pac-12. So I can't see them going any less than 9-3. So
Ian, looks
the
like
only thing that scares me about that is their front 7 and Jackson Arnold at quarterback.
And you also got huge offensive upside. You didn't really lose many, but you got a new coach coming in.
All right, I'm gonna move on my third season win total, and Back in a previous lifetime of gambling expertise, I had a rule against betting against Bill Belichick, but that was the NFL. That was with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Give me under for North Carolina Tar Heels, under 4.5. That is a brutal, bad football team. They didn't do crap through the portal. I don't see, like, I'm sorry. I think Bill Belichick may be the greatest football coach of all time. They had zero talent on that roster. It is a train wreck in Chapel Hill. Give me the under 4.5 for UNC.
That would be a sweat. That's a sweat for sure.
I know, dude. I know it is. I mean, I hate betting unders. I hate betting unders for even short events. I certainly hate betting a season long under. But I mean, I ran the numbers. I just don't think they get to 5 wins. Look at that schedule. Tell me where you find five teams.
I can't.
Find five teams they're beating.
Yeah.
I definitely looked at that one also.
Brian, give me your next one.
Michigan under 8.5.
I like it.
180. Their schedule's brutal. They got to play Oregon and Ohio State on the road. They got to play Penn State, Iowa, and Oklahoma. I mean, it's 8-4. I feels like where they're going to land at, which is under the 8.5. The only thing that scares me about them is you don't know, like Chad picked as a Heisman contender, you don't know what you're going to get out of Bryce Underwood. That kid's got plenty of talent. He could go over that number. And you got Kyle Whittingham now as your head football coach. So there's a good chance that doesn't hit, but I had to take it.
I'm with you. I'm obviously an SEC homer, but the Big Ten is legit these days, and Michigan's schedule is brutal. It's a schedule that when you go down there, you go, okay, there's for sure there's two or three slip ups along the way, and then you got another two or three where it's coin flip games, and I'm with you. I looked at that one as well. Chad, you got any thoughts on the Michigan team total?
I don't on the total, but I read in 3 different places today that they have probably the second to third hardest schedule out of the whole league this year.
Yeah.
It's
a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
I think again, I'm a fan of the coach. I'm excited to see Underwood at quarterback, but I'm with you, Brian. I like that. It didn't make the cut for my sheet, but I did look at that one as well. The next one, Chad, this one's right up your alley, brother. Give me the Georgia Southern Eagles over 4.5 wins.
You would pick the place I graduated from. What's the line?
It was minus 120. Georgia Southern over 4.5. Look, I love Clay Helton. Clay Helton wins football game. All he needs 5. Look at the Charleston Southern, Jacksonville State, Coastal Carolina, App State, Marshall, Georgia State, Louisiana Tech.
Never beat
I,
App State.
look, I only need 5 wins. Georgia Southern, Clay Helton. I think they get 6 or 7. But Georgia Southern that's a winning football program. They're going to go over 500. Give me Georgia Southern over 4.5 wins.
I would pass, and I would say, please tell me the last time they've been a winning team. Besides when Paul Johnson and Eric Russell were there.
Oh man, it ain't been that long.
Yeah, it has.
I think they had a winning season the first season they were in the FBS, but it's been a while.
It's been like 15, 16 years.
Georgia Southern over 4.5. Book it.
Got it.
Brian, you got anybody left on your sheet?
You're saying over? I'm going to take under. So that'll be my pick for it.
All right.
All right.
I'll go back and get that line here in a minute and find out what it is. All right,
Let's go.
Last one.
You got one more?
I got to take a drink for this one because you know where it's going.
All right. What you got?
Why have we not talked about Ohio State? I mean, 12-2, and they were 9-0 at home.
You can talk about anybody you want, brother. You're on this show.
I know. What is the line on that right now?
Well, you're not gonna be on this show if you keep coming on here asking for the lines. Do your own work.
I can't. I'm on a
Ohio
MacBook.
State at over 9.5 minus 180.
Oh, they would put that hook on 9, wouldn't they?
Well, they always do on season win totals.
Georgia
Yeah.
Southern at under 4.5 was plus 135.
And you're laying 9.5 and you're laying 2-1. That's terrible investment. They'll probably get there, but that's a terrible investment.
I pass.
All right, the
All right,
last
Brian, who was
last.
your last season win total?
You already know where it's going, and that's why I had to take a drink of liquor. But it's going to be Florida State under 6.5 at minus 180. This schedule's tough by the ACC standard, even though it's an ACC schedule. I don't see where they got any better from last year. I mean, me and you've talked about it before. I feel like that they wanted to make a coaching change last year. They knew what kind of schedule they had coming up. So instead of making a change, they're going to let Mike Norvell wear those losses this year. They got to play Louisville and Pitt on Friday night road games. I can see them going 3-9. I could see them going 8-4. So I'm going to stay with the under 6.5. I feel like that if they lose the SMU game on Labor Day night, they get throttled by Alabama and Tuscaloosa. Then they're going to play Virginia. Good chance they lose that game, and I think Mike Norvell's fired before Halloween.
Well,
So
I
I
will
would
tell you,
project it
Brian.
as a 5.7. The only thing that scares me is they playing in the ACC.
I will tell you that I know you pretty well, and I knew you'd find a way to get the emotional hedge bet. Like I do it every Saturday betting against Georgia. I knew you'd come in on the Florida State season total under. I ran my model so many times to try to find a way to get on the other side just to make it interesting. I mean, look, I can see some fluky things happening for the Noles. I can't get them over 6 wins. I'm with you. I think at 6.5, that number, I would have to go under. I wouldn't play it just because the juice, but I think under 6.5 is a pretty safe bet.
I found one, Gregory, that I had wrote down. It was TCU over 6.5 wins.
Well, I'm glad you decided to participate.
Shut up. It's minus 176, so it's juicy.
It is. I do like it though. I think TCU gets to 7 or 8 pretty easy. All right, Brian, you got an ability to kind of give us a quick recap.
On what everybody picked.
Yeah,
I got
hey, here's what I want to do. I want to for this episode we're going to mix it up a little bit, but I want to do a quick recap before we close out, and then we're going to create a whiskey and winners 3-way parlay to close out every show. That's going to be one money line piece. You're just responsible to give me one winner, no spread, just a winner. Don't be an asshole. Don't pick a 4 touchdown favorite that adds no value. Let's try to put together a 3-team parlay at the end of everything that'll have a little bit of value. But since we're not doing that for this week we're just going to go with out of everything you threw out there today. For anybody who stumbles across this and ends up listening to this show, if you could tell them to follow one pick you gave out tonight, I want you to be thinking about which pick that one is. So Brian, give us a quick recap, and then we'll close it with the one bet to leave with.
all right. Quick recap. Chad's picks. I got James Madison over 8.5. New Mexico over 7.5. Georgia Southern under 4.5, and TCU over 6.5. ACC champion is going to be Louisville Cardinals. Big 12 Utah. Big 10 Penn State. SEC Texas, and the Heisman winner is C.J. Carr. For Greg's picks, got Oklahoma over 7.5, South Carolina over 6.5, North Carolina under 4.5, Georgia Southern over 4.5, Louisville as well to win the ACC, BYU to win the Big 12, Oregon to win the Big 10, Georgia to win the SEC, and C.J. Carr again to win the Heisman. My
I
picks
had one.
are
I missed one season win total. I forgot to give out. I like the BYU over 8.5. That was at minus 120.
got it. All right, my picks to close that part out is Miami over 10.5, Kansas State over 7.5, UNLV over 7.5, Michigan under 8.5, Florida State under 6.5, Miami to win the ACC, Kansas State to win the Big 12, Oregon to win the Big 10, Georgia to win the SEC. I'm going to give you my national champion because I got it on my spreadsheet. Oregon's going to win the national championship at plus 750. And Darren Menzel to win the Heisman Trophy at plus 1,000.
All right, Brian, you're on a roll. Give us your one pick to leave with. Of all the picks you had on tonight's show, give me the one pick you feel the best about.
Darren Menzel winning the Heisman Trophy at plus 1,000.
Beautiful. All right, Chad, your closing arguments, anything you want to throw out there, and then your one pick off the show that you like the best.
CJ Carr still stands out to me, man.
I'm with you. Plus 700 is a good number, too.
It's a good number. He completed 66.7% of passes. He averaged close to 10 yards, I think, per reception in his first 12 starts. And preseason odds listed near the very top of the futures market on the platform, just like FanDuel and across everywhere else. So everyone's kind of seeing the same thing we're seeing, and they've got Arch Manning right below him.
Arch just seemed like too obvious.
You and I have been doing this for 20 years in a gym. We were looking at football bets at 9 o'clock in the morning, saying, "Oh, it's too obvious," and we picked the other way, and the obvious won. So I don't know.
All right, well, I'm gonna leave you with this. I like the national title Oregon pick for some value. I think out of everything I threw out there tonight, I like Oregon winning the Big Ten at plus 260. I think there's some value there. Everybody loves Ohio State. Dante Moore, Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks, I think, are the class of the Big Ten. I think the experience is there, and I like the fact that they're kind of coming in a little bit under the radar with all the Ohio State love. Oregon Ducks to win the Big Ten plus 260 would be my play of the night. Anybody got anything before I close us out of here?
No, I wish everybody luck this year, and I hope we are able to bring some value to some people and put some money in everybody's pocket.
Hey, that's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
Brian, did you finish your whiskey?
This is number 3, but yes, it's about finished.
Have one more for me.
I just had to pick Florida State to lose 7 to 8 ball games. I had to drink more than one glass.
All right, well, that's it for tonight, guys. We're officially on record, which means, hey, a few months from now, we're either going to look like geniuses or hey, we're going to have audio and video evidence of just how stupid we all are. But either way, we had fun, and hopefully this continues to be entertaining. And that's episode 1 of Whiskey and Winners. If you're listening, tell us what you think. Tell us which picks you like, what you agree with, what you think we're absolute fools for. And tell us who your favorite handicapper on the show is. I'd be curious to find that out. But more important than that, hey, save the receipts because we damn sure are. We keeping records here. Pour something good, bet something smart, and we'll see you on the next episode of Whiskey and Winners. Night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good one.